I'm so glad you've chosen to be with us today for the word of encouragement. We often hear about believers around the world who are suffering for the cause of Christ. And it always stirs us, and I trust you take time to pray. Whenever I hear of some situation, I want to bring that situation to the Lord, even if I'm not intimately attached to it. We need to pray for our brethren that are suffering. The Bible tells us that. But as we think about that, we oftentimes do not think that we're going to go through suffering. But in our lives, we definitely will have times that we suffer. We may suffer as a group. We may be suffering as Americans because of all of the humanism and all the problems. It may be that you will take some hits at work because of your stand for Christ. A number of our people have had that over the last few years. It may be that your family will oppose you for what you believe. Or it could be that there is even more suffering that will face us in the days to come. Well, a verse that's very important is found in 1 Peter, a book that was written by the Spirit of God to give us a right perspective on suffering. And we read in verse 19 of chapter 4, "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator." No matter what kind of suffering we face, there are several things here that will make all of the difference. First of all, we need to suffer in the will of God. Sometimes Christians suffer because they're not wise in what they do. They think they're taking a stand when actually they're not following what they should follow. They're saying things that they ought not say. And as a result, they're suffering because they have not been filled with the Spirit. They've been acting in the flesh, and so therefore there is reaction. And so we need to make sure that we are doing what is right, and that if we are suffering, it truly is for the truth. And if that's the case, then we need to commit. We need to entrust to the Lord the keeping of our souls. In other words, God is going to take care of us. He has promised to do so. And so we need to rely upon Him, that when difficulties come, that He is watching over us. He knows what we're going through. If we're in the will of God, we can trust Him to do a major work in utilizing this suffering for the cause of Christ and for our own good. And when we commit this, we need to commit it to the Lord in well-doing. In other words, we don't need to get into the matter of suffering because of our own mistakes, and we need to commit to the Lord our lives because we are following Him. We are involved in well-doing. We're accomplishing His will.